Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome to another live where we cultivate more love and joy in our lives through self-developing in the moment, coming awake to our patterns and choosing something new instead of perpetuating the old stuff that we don't even like, right? So today, what's on my heart to talk about is pattern in relationship. If you keep noticing you have a story about men, about women, about people in general, and you keep having evidence support that in your life, it's your job and responsibility to change your story, because there's so many people out in the world. There's so many different kinds of relationships and dynamics and really healthy relationships that you could be tuning into and receiving the energy of and modeling for yourself, right? If you keep running into like, oh, this person's so immature, or oh, men are like this, women are like this, throw that in the trash. Stop generalizing your experience to support the things you don't like, and shift it so that you do. Shift it so that it's enjoyable for you. There's nothing else for you to do but customize your life in a way that is pleasant for you, right? Because you could literally be staying in the same place, staying in the same setting, staying in the same like level of mind with people day in, day out, having the same conversations. Like if you are in a group of friends where they like constantly snipe at each other and shoot each other down, that's not a friend group that is eliciting a lot of growth, right? Like stellar growth, like knockout, out of the park, your most potential, multiply it by 10. That is available for you if you decide to have it, right? But that comes from watering the right plants and pulling up the weeds and recognizing like not to stay in a connection that's not benefiting you. Or you can always select and revise that it's like, actually, we're so supportive of each other. We realize that we want to be that supportive. Hi, Kayla. Welcome, baby. How you doing? It is a beautiful time to live your life. It's a beautiful day to be alive. It's a beautiful opportunity for you to tune in and say like, you know what I really desire to experience right now is love, joy, prosperity. If you keep perpetuating the same exhaustion, really, really, really come back to yourself and be like, okay, where am I sinking energy? Where am I like, think of it like you have a certain number of tokens in a day, right? If part of your attention keeps going sideways towards mitigating what other people think of you, or showing up in a way you don't enjoy, and then at the end of the day you're drained, you have spent your tokens on bullshit. Currency, attention, right? Attention is currency. So it's like what you're flowing your current of energy to. If you don't like it and if it's not building you, pull it back. Bring it back to self. Stop letting yourself be run by things that are not beneficial to you. Start taking your machete and cutting shit out, right? Be really clear with yourself. This is such a silly example, but like I like it because it's accurate. If you have a loose doorknob and every day you touch the doorknob multiple times a day and you're like, oh, this is so loose, this is so loose, oh my God, it keeps getting looser. When you have the screwdriver in the other room, one day you're going to just grab it, tighten it, and then it's going to be nice, because then every time you use it, you don't have to think about like, oh, it's getting so loose. And you don't realize how that is actually taking up time. If you have someone that you've been meaning to reach out to for like a year and you just haven't called, having a 5-minute conversation, you're going to get all that energy back instead of every single day thinking about how you need to make that phone call. And then you're going to be so surprised and enlivened by like, oh wow, I got my energy back, instead of like siphoning away my attention. Is it okay? I just decided F everything and I'm a focus on me. I'm tired of pushing I'm so tired I'm pushing myself concept. You ought to be focusing on you and like living your life in the best, most wonderful way, right? Like thrive, fill your cup, overflow yourself. I'm the most wonderful. Everything's happening perfectly for me. I love my life. I'm receiving the most wonderful, beautiful things. I have the best relationships. Like whatever. You know, what kind of concept of self do you want? I'm the kind of person that everything happens for easily. You can easily decide to be that person, right? Some people decide that everything has to happen hard for them. Everything has to be a struggle. Other people decide it's easy, and then that's what they experience. Hi, Kiasha. Hi, Mar. Beautiful beings. Jasmine. Amelia. Love, peace. Kayla. All that jazz. Hi, Emma. Are your decisions benefiting you? Is it making you happy? Are you feeling good with yourself? Or are you feeling like, ooh, I'm exhausted at the end of the day. I feel drained and cranky. If so, pull it back, pull it back. Put the focus on you. What can you say about yourself? How can you view yourself in a way that benefits you? I'm so good. I just got my nails done. I went to see my girl and I'm so freaking happy. It's just black almonds, but like, I love them so much. I'm so happy. I call them my little critter claws. You get to be your favorite version of you. If you're not enjoying the reality you're selecting, I would ask, select one that you do enjoy. This question says, do we actually create our reality? So think of it this way, okay? You, as the singular perspective of consciousness, don't have all the knowledge that all that is has, right? But it is accessible to you, and you get like snippets, you get information of like, okay, go here, do this, like this would feel good for me to do, I'm going to enjoy doing this, right? So then you like create that in that path. Okay, so all things that already exist and are being played out by consciousness, you as the individual get to be awake in that dream and witness it yourself. So in that sense, what you're creating is your pathway moment by moment, especially when you're choosing and steering of like, oh, you know what? I'd prefer to experience this or I'd prefer to experience that. Some people think it's like you're not even choosing those thoughts, right? You're just receiving them. So you're kind of witnessing the path you're witnessing. Some people think that some people prefer to think of it like, no, I'm like steering my thing. What the thing about consciousness is, it's what you're conscious of. So if you're conscious that you're steering, then you're steering. And if you're conscious that you're not steering, then you're not steering. If you're conscious that you're creating and selecting, then you are creating. The word create actually means to grow. So if you start out with a spark of like, ooh, I really like poetry, and then you keep writing it, and then at the end you have a book, that's what you've created, right? You've grown yourself and you've grown that book. So yes, we create our reality from my perspective. I don't need to create the whole architecture of the world. I don't need to make the bridges be held up by their suspension things, right? I don't need to create that. That's created. But what I create is my choices, the way I show up, who I prefer to be, and how I'm treating myself and others. So oh my gosh, I also got a pedicure as well, and it's like this really cute teal color. I'd show you, but I'm not doing feet on here. I also wouldn't want to be anyone else. Out of the infinite people, I chose to be me. I know, I feel like a queen too. Do you think the source material in dreams is the same in our waking life? Yes, I do. Something that pulls me into the 3D is people keep drawing from past. What do I do in those situations? So the 3D is a projection of you anyway. It's a projection of the consciousness you've been being, and it's like where you're registering in that moment. So if you have the ability to have your focus be pulled by something you're witnessing on the screen, then you're giving power to that thing that's projecting outside of you instead of remembering to hold your center. So strengthen yourself, strengthen who you know you are, witness the actual authority and power you have for selecting in your reality, and that's going to just like 10x your experience of life. So if that means you tell yourself like, I'm a master manifestor, I'm so good at this, everything I do, it's so easy for me, it's always working for me, etc. There's levels. Controlling is one, but that's ego. Living in the moment is how you live by faith. People misunderstand control and ego a lot. So for me, ego says to me, it's where the energy goes. It's the singular perspective, right? Ego in Latin is just the word for I. So it's like, I am. So the I am in the moment is the conscious perspective you're awake to in the moment, right? Control is also not a bad thing when it's like you're steering. When it's like, oh, let's, but then there's over control. There's like based from fear control, right? Of like, I'm afraid that if I don't micromanage everything, it's going to go poorly. Versus just like turning your wheel and knowing the wind is going to carry you. That kind of control. Like, okay, I'm going to do this part and I know that the rest is going to happen for me. Versus like, I need to put the winds in the sky myself and like, oh, that's not there. So like X, Y, and Z. And then you drive yourself crazy and drain your energy. And you're like, why is nothing working for me? And it's like, well, because you are convinced that nothing is working for you and you have to do it all yourself. So that's what your experience will be. But yeah, faith is beautiful. I felt so pulled into listening to subliminals today. It was so itching. I'm glad I didn't. Oh, I mean, I like affirmations. I like subliminals. I like do whatever I feel like in the moment. What I did really enjoy today, what I did was I sat on the porch and I had a book and I was like reading parts of it, and then I would just pause and I would just feel the feelings of goodness and wonderfulness. Like after like reading certain things, I just immersed myself in that feeling. And that was really nice. That was like my slightly active meditation. Okay, bringing it back to center. Beautiful. Hi, Jazzy. This is so fun. I think, is my phone in the sun right now? Maybe I ought to move it. Maybe I ought to move me a little. Yeah. So, who are you choosing to be? Who do you prefer to be? And what are you doing in your day that supports that and is the experience of that person? Do you know what I mean? So if you're a person who's deeply secure in who you are, as your inspiration comes up of, oh, I'd like to do this thing, then you just go and do it, right? You're not having like, oh, I'd really like to do this, but I can't because someone's going to say something and then blah, blah, blah. And you're like kind of putting yourself through these filters of external projections of people you've experienced, which, to be clear, might not be the way that they actually would reflect to you. But it doesn't matter. Point is, you're taking your own energy away by like pretending that the outside of you is somehow going to determine your worth, value, or happiness. What is the number one thing blocking most people from their desires and manifesting? The idea of blocks is a thing, right? Because it's all creation. So you're creating that there's a block. You get that, right? It's like if you're like, I'm blocked, there must be something in the way, because you're like, okay, cool, there must be something in the way. Alakazam. Instead of being like, oh, I have this thing, I am this thing, it's here. You're creating a block, you're putting a block in there. Another thing that gets people a lot is like thinking they have to do something, right? Instead of recognizing like, okay, I'm the one who already has this thing in this moment. I know that it's guaranteed. You know, even if it's like on its way physically, I'm just like, okay, it's guaranteed that it's literally like gonna pop into my experience like so fucking soon, like right now or a few days or whatever. So what am I doing to live my life right now? Oh, I'm gonna take care of myself. I'm gonna give myself a pedicure. I'm going to clean my room. I'm going to clean my whole house. I'm going to put my laundry away. You know, kind of like chop wood, carry water thing. People getting so hyper fixated in what they're doing that like their life falls to the wayside because they think they need to keep doing more and more things, which means they're not like in the being of like, oh, ask and it's given, or I like selected and I get to receive it. So like that kind of micromanaging. It's just like, where are you taking joy out of your life by over controlling things? Which is also where the joy gets to return then, because when you drop that and you say, you know what, I don't have to fucking do any of this. And you go off and live your life and it's nice. You're like, oh yeah, awesome. I love that. I love that for me. Oh, thanks for sharing, babe. Yeah, it's really customizable. So what do you desire to experience? One of my favorite ways of making it easy is by saying it's easy. It's so easy. Manifesting is so easy, because it is. And that's the thing, is you're only ever experiencing the manifestation of the consciousness you've been being. Manifestation of consciousness, right? People will just say, oh, manifestation. A manifestation of what? Consciousness. A manifestation of mental into physical energy, really. Like manifestation of consciousness into physical form to interact with. It's amazing that, I mean, the words are there, but if you don't recognize what it is, you're not going to interact with it in that way. You know? We love it. And then deciding there's nothing blocking you. There's nothing between you and yourself, and it's all you, right? So there isn't anything blocking you. You have it. You are it. You're experiencing it. It's happening right now. You know, I don't want to focus on like an unfolding, but like you're naturally going to witness that there was some sort of event that brought it to you. Whether, you know, maybe it did appear out of thin air. That happens quite often. But something shifted within you, and then you experience the consciousness of it physically. So fun. We love it. Like noticing my hand. I'm not sure if that was something from the manicure. Oh well. What is the you? So you already have it. Imagine like you have it, whatever it is, the money, the relationship, the job, the career, business is booming. Have that knowing of like, cool, it's happening. So now that that's happening and that's just my life, me in this moment right now, what am I doing? And then whatever that is, cool. Then that's your experience. You know? One of my favorite things also is noticing, like, paying attention to my system. If I have a desire to experience something and I'm like happy about that desire, and then my mind will be like, oh, and I have to do this thing. If I feel contraction around doing that thing, I'm going to examine that in a couple different ways. Is that actually something I desire to do? If no, then right off the bat, I'm saying, well, then that part's not for me to do. Someone else is going to do that. It's going to happen in a different way. That doesn't involve me doing that. If the answer is, it's not that I don't want to do it, but I don't want to do it in the way that I've been imagining, then I'm going to tune into a more enjoyable way to do it, and I'm going to do it that way. I don't think there's a third thing. I think it basically is just that. And then the third thing would be just like, you know, not even noticing, right? Because like when you have an idea and you're enthused to do it, you go do it. But if you feel that contraction in yourself of like, oh, this thing for my books, but I'm not excited about this component. Okay, cool. Is that for me to actually do, or is that something else comes from that, you know? I love it. Advice for when you truly believe and speak of something one way, but evidence shows otherwise. Learn more about the actual law of assumption and experience of consciousness, because you are experiencing what you assume. So if you're like, oh, I truly believe and speak it, but evidence is showing me otherwise, why do you think that evidence, a past projection of consciousness, is showing you your future? That's not evidence of what you're selecting in this now moment. That's just evidence of what was selected previously. And the fact that you're reacting to it as if it means anything is showing you that you have a little gap in that knowledge. And that's okay, because you get to remember right now of like, oh, I've been looking at the past as if it's my future, and I've been getting offended by it. Instead of being like, that's irrelevant because I have the thing. I feel overwhelmed by so many desires. That's understandable. It can help to straighten your mind out by writing lists, right? If you just write things out and then look at it and what lights you up the most. What lights you up the most? Is there something that you would most enjoy doing? Is there something that would take the least amount of time in your mind to do? Right? If you have a whole list of desires and you're like, I could go get mint chocolate chip ice cream today, right? But it's like, oh, publish 47 books. And it's like, okay, I can't do that in a day. Or I wouldn't want to do that in a day. So then you'd be like, okay, well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline one of those books. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write all the things I know that are in this book, everything I want to cover, and then I'm going to organize it. And I'm going to take 20 minutes to do that, and however far I get in that is great. And then I'll do 20 more minutes tomorrow. But it's just like, make yourself that list of like, okay, we're going to start somewhere. Oh, I want to paint more in my life, but it's like, feels like a lot of effort to do it for 2 hours. So I'm going to literally do it for 5 minutes. And whatever I do in 5 minutes, I'm going to be like, cool, I feel satisfied. Hey, I'm struggling to drop the old story. I keep going back, even though I'm trying to live the new. So you don't really have to focus on dropping the old story if you just keep strengthening and perpetuating the new story. Anytime you observe yourself in the other story, it doesn't matter. Don't beat yourself up. That's taking more now moments to look at the past. That's silly. You notice the old story, what you do is you immediately are like, cool, I have the thing, right? and the more you strengthen your chosen story, the more you're naturally going to spend less time in the other one anyway. So all this is saying to me is that you just continue to strengthen it, right? You do it till it's done. You do it till it's done. This is like weightlifting. So it's like, okay, cool. Let's say you're lifting 5-pound weights for a little bit, and then you move to 10-pound weights, and then you're like, oh, but like I really want to get to 12, but I keep whatever. And then let's say you're sore for a day and you go back to a 5-pound weight. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you're not like still strong and growing and getting to experience what you want. The only way to really not experience it is to stop and say like, oh, well, it didn't work. Weightlifting didn't work for me. And it's like, okay. Relax a little bit more. Something I've noticed with a bunch of my clients in the last week is like all of them coming in absolutely rocking it, knocking things out of the park, and then having a story of, I don't think I'm doing it right though. There must be something I'm doing wrong. I must be doing something wrong. Which, do you hear how that plays out in consciousness? If you have an imperative like that, I have to be doing something wrong. No matter what, I have to be doing something wrong. So you pull your attention away from that. And then you're like, oh, wait a minute. I see that I've been invoking that there must be something I'm doing wrong, instead of saying like, oh no, actually I'm doing it correctly. Assume you're doing it right. Assume that like, wow, I'm so glad. How much more are you in your new story than you were a couple weeks ago? Probably a lot more. So take credit for that and be like, cool, and I'm going to keep going. And then the old one fades out, and that's it. All my favorite creators live at the same time. You, Erica, and Kay. Oh, cool. Yeah, I love both of those people. This is why it's helpful to have some sort of structure for yourself too. Like, you know, I have my morning, my afternoon, and my evening, like little sessions for myself where I sit with myself and I select my internal, or it's like I tune myself, right? I'm like, I feel my wonderful feelings and I am just present with myself. And then if I repeat whatever thoughts are of my choosing to myself because it feels really freaking good, or if an image comes to me, I like imagine it and I witness it fully with all my senses, and like I'm experiencing consciousness, right? So it's because otherwise it's like you're just recycling the you from the day before and the day before and the day before. So like really having that pattern interrupt in there of like, nope, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I'm experiencing. It's really good. So we love it. Also, guys, last few sessions available for the July one-on-ones with the bonus special of the call plus custom plan. And then Select Your Reality is now $4.99. So I'm excited about that. And Healthy State also. Classics. Hi, Echo. Thank you so much for the heart, May. I appreciate you guys. You're wonderful. You're amazing. You're beautiful. You're perfect. If you do not already have a system for yourself of deeply relaxing your body, selecting your thoughts, actually witnessing the story you're telling, writing it down and witnessing it yourself, and then selecting your new story, highly recommend that you do that for yourself. You can do that for yourself, by yourself, figure your own way out to do it, find a billion YouTube videos and put it together. I also have the course that I put together. And then there's like, you know, obviously so many other people too. Hi, Howl, you are amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. Hi, Jacob. We've got such good, beautiful, wonderful energy in here today. And I got my nails done and I'm so happy. I'm so freaking happy. I've been focused on my violin this year, so like I hadn't had acrylics in a long time, but I was really feeling them. Thank you. I know. I really like the first time I got black nails, it unlocked part of my personality, I think. And then I just like, this is actually my first time getting just plain black, because last time I got like a heart, a red heart with like a gold thingy around it. I just love it. Oh, thank you. I love my rings. I love a good ring stack. You are already brilliant and perfect and beautiful. You get to have whatever you want. Get yourself the structure, because think of it like you've had structure through a lot of your life too, right? You would wake up, eat breakfast, go to school, or you wake up, eat breakfast, go to work. What in that day, where are you consciously selecting your thoughts or making sure that you have your thoughts? Also, to that end, I want to state, because I had a couple clients last week with this too, where if you heard someone say, maybe you heard me say, like, oh, like sitting and affirming for 10 minutes or standing and walking and affirming for 10 minutes is great, because it's just like pattern interruption. It's inserting the chosen thoughts so that they become auto suggestions. So instead of having your auto suggestions be bullshit things, your auto suggestions are like, I'm so wealthy, everything's working for me, I love myself, like stuff like that, right? Which is really, really beneficial. And it makes it more dominant in your experience. But if you're like, oh, well, like I can't just sit there and affirm, great, walk. What are you thinking about when you're washing your dishes? What are you thinking about in the shower? If that's the time you usually get into fake bullshit arguments, marshal your freaking mind and actually like be the person who has this terrific outcome. What are the thoughts of that person? And then you think those thoughts because you are that person. What about turning silence into a positive? I already have persist beyond communication. So be like, oh wow, I'm so glad we're talking again. And all like whatever silence there was, it was just like so-and-so was just like becoming the best version of themselves, and so was I, and like I'm so glad we're talking again. But it turns out that it was like a good thing. Make up a story. Make up a good story. For people who deal with intrusive thoughts, OCD, is it not a concern because they would never identify with those thoughts? So it's like, that's why there's multiple things you could say, right? That's why like sometimes it's helpful to remind yourself of like only my positive thoughts manifest when you choose that, right? Because otherwise people will fear thoughts. And then that also is like informing the whole, like when people are like terrified of like the word choice of like, I have to pick the exact right word choice because it's like cracking a safe code, right? A concern isn't being worried people will reflect the content of those thoughts or it will manifest. It's just your dominant thought. So the dominant one is the one that like you think it and either it stands immediately and you're not like contradicting it a billion times, or you think it and then like whenever that thing comes up in your system, you're like, nope, this is my truth, right? And then after selecting it so many times, that just becomes your set point because you are a learning system. You're an organic supercomputer. So like once you, kind of like the movie Click. It's kind of like the movie Click. Do you remember that movie with the remote? Where it was like he started like fast forwarding specific things and like those things would then auto fast forward because that's what he had selected for his system. So it's kind of like that where it's like you didn't realize that you were auto selecting things for your system of like, oh, someone their tone shifts a little bit and I panic. So then you're like, now you're doing the reteaching yourself of like, oh, this thought I don't prefer comes up and my reaction instead of freaking out is just being like, no, actually this. It's like, my favorite thing is the non-reaction of it, of just being like, it doesn't even faze me anymore. Whereas like I used to really, and like, I still have sometimes, right? Where it's just like, but because I practiced it enough, it's more muscle memory to respond in this way. Where it's just like, oh, nope, actually this story. And then the more you repeat the chosen story, the easier it is to just be in it. So don't worry about it. Just continue to select the thoughts you think or you prefer. And then you could even say like, oh, wow. What I like doing is affirming for whatever, or being like, wow, I love that I don't even get like weird intrusive thoughts anymore. I don't even get those. If one pops up in your head, you're like, wow, I'm so glad I don't even get intrusive thoughts anymore. That's like so funny. No, that's not me. That's really helpful. It's really helpful. That legit happened to me. We broke up, but I took time to realize I was the prize. Now he's taking me to the beach this weekend. You are the prize. What would you do if you want to manifest an old SP but you feel embarrassed over something you did? Affirm that it doesn't matter. They love you anyway. They don't even remember that thing. It wasn't as big of a deal as you made it in your head. It wasn't actually embarrassing. It was just very human and sweet, and they know that. They love everything about you. Nothing you do could ever off-put them. I got you. Having a little confusion. I like 2 SPs and I'm not sure how to go about it. One has 3P. No, they don't. There's no, you're creating confusion, right? You're creating confusion instead of just being like, wow, I'm with my most perfect person. I'm in my perfect relationship. Or if you want to date them both, be like, wow, like, I love that. Like, I'm dating the most wonderful people right now. I'm so glad that, like, this is developing so easily, you know? Like, wow, we have the best relationships. I really love my life. Think of it this way. Anytime anyone here, right? If you are thinking, I'm confused, I don't know what to do about this, play a game of like, what if I did know what to do? What if it were easy? What would I do then? If this were the easiest thing in the world for me to just select what I desire and experience it, what would I select? Oh my God, what? I can do that? Yeah, babe. Hi. Realized today I think I have beliefs that I'm not supported in my life. What to pick instead? Well, like that you're supported. You're supported by your whole universe. Your whole universe generates for you to experience it. So you've been supported since day one. You've been chosen since day one because out of billions and trillions and gajillions of beings, you chose to be you. You came in as that consciousness to witness the life that you're witnessing, right? And now you've woken up in the dream, so you're steering a bit more and you're like, actually, what I'd prefer is this thing. I think I got worried because I know it's one mind and thought transmission, and I'm like, are these intrusive thoughts transmitting? Since I'm aware of them, but like, that's not who I am. Think of it this way. You are all that is, right? That means that all thought exists everywhere, and you can have an awareness of a thought and not choose to render your reality from it. Having a thought pass your mind does not mean it's going to be your reality. It's like if you have a fucking intrusive thought of like, I'm going to hold my hand on that hot stove, you don't then freak out and say like, what if I do? You just say like, oh, cool, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Cool story, bro. No. Right? If it like flits through, just because something flies past your field of awareness doesn't mean you need to be like, I've got one with my like butterfly net. Okay, this is the one. This is the one. I don't like this one, but this is the one I caught in my net. So this has to be the one that the reality. No. Throw it away. True, but with something like OCD, it's subconscious. I guess that's why I worried. Yeah, so I changed my story about that shit. And I know other creators who have mentioned the same thing where it's like, I don't even identify as having that. I don't claim that for myself. I just say like, you know what? Actually, I easily direct my mind. Actually sit with yourself. Next time you have the collection of symptoms come up, start catching, okay, this is what has been labeled this. What's another way I can train my mind to operate? Because it's just neural programming. It's just the set way that you are currently experiencing your brain in reality, right? Luckily, your brain rewires. So be a little patient with yourself. Choose that it happens easily. And then you could even give yourself of like, oh, you know what? I'm going to... Also the whole... Hold on. Let me finish. Thought transmission in and of itself, it's not like you're transmitting a thought across space. It's not like their body exists out here and you're sending it 50 miles to hit them, right? It's not like a radio wave going across the thing. It's more like the quantum entanglement of you're in the reality where they're naturally thinking that thing, right? And it's instantaneous in a moment. So if you have a thought come up that you don't prefer, you don't have to be party to that reality. You're just like, no, the reality I'm choosing is this one. So then you're in this one. And so then that's the one that you interact with them. Get it? So don't worry about random ass thoughts. You're always in the now moment. You don't like what that now moment was? Great. You're in a new now moment right the fuck now. Oh, I didn't like that thing. I don't prefer that. That's telling me what I want to put my focus on and grow is this. It's more like not supported by my friends, family, money, etc. Yeah. which is a projection of your consciousness. So feeling fully like I'm always supported. I'm fully supported. I'm feel supported in body, mind, and soul. My family's so supportive. Start choosing that. Wow, my family's so supportive. My family's so supportive. This is just telling you that you've been aware of a program saying that you're not supported. So you've been experiencing the full manifestation of that, the full effects of that, and not enjoying yourself at all. And now you get to choose, you know what? We, as the selector of our reality, did not enjoy that very much. We're going to select now that our family is so supportive. Our friends are so supportive. We have the best freaking relationships. Fully feel and experience that. Be like, wow, I have the best relationships. Oh my God. Oh, what are we talking about in these relationships? And then like overhear that a little bit. Like, oh, we're talking about this and this. And like, that's really great. What are my really supportive family members saying to me? They're saying those things to me. And then you select that and then that's a reality and they'll start parroting it back to you. How do I deal with the opposite in the 3D? You don't. You're not out here meddling in shit. You're selecting up here. This is how it plays out. This is how it works out. And this is what I experience. How do I deal with the opposite in the 3D? Stop labeling it the opposite too. It's just another thing that happened. It's like on a color wheel, or you like, you know, it's just another color. It's not like this is the exact opposite, right? You're putting your attention and focus on it. Pull your attention away and say like, oh, red popped up, but what I really wanted was blue, or what I really wanted was green. So then you're not going to be like, why does red keep happening? And it's like, because you keep looking at red and saying, why is this here? Why do you exist at all in the existence of all things? Take your freaking attention away from it. It's really that simple. And like, if any part of you wants to overcomplicate it, play a game of like, you know what? Show me how simple it is. Show me how simple it is. I'm choosing to fully experience how simple this is now. If I think happy thoughts and calm my body, I feel calm. That's like a one-to-one experience of how your thoughts affect your body, right? And it affects everything outside of you because there is no outside of you. Think of everything as an extension of your body. How would you breathe if you know that you breathing and relaxing would have your whole reality be that? Thank you. So I would decide I'm in a relationship with both of them. Everything is done. Logic is nothing. Yeah, you're in your perfect relationship anyway. It just worked out perfectly. Whatever it is. Whatever it is you want. And then any thoughts coming up that you notice that are like, you know, contradicting. Contradict means speak against, right? So you can observe, is that something that's valid in my reality, or is that just noise? How do you change your focus from something with your body when you see it every day? By recognizing that my mind is the selector and the creator, and my body has to reflect it. So it doesn't really matter if I'm ruminating in my mind saying, this isn't changing, 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 and that's all I'm looking at. Of course it's not changing. Versus me saying like, oh, no, this is the way my body is now. I'm so healthy, or it's this way. I blah, blah, blah. I'm so strong. Then it has to be that. So you're saying like, how do you change your focus when I keep staring at the opposite and thinking that that is my God? It's not. How do I stop making things super real? Stop believing that they're the final outcome, that they're real. Stop believing that they are all that is. It's not. It's you, baby. It's all you. Oh yeah, my pleasure. I love explaining things. I have 2 kids and I want my flat stomach back. Okay, so your stomach is flat again. Your stomach is flat and you're healthy and it was easy for you. And yeah. It was easy for you. It was just so natural for you. Your body did exactly what you wanted it to do. You're so strong. You have perfect posture. You have perfect muscle tone. You actually look even better than you did before, right? Everyone should be telling them that story of like, I look even better than I did before. Because otherwise, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh yeah, I'm glad that helped. My pleasure. That's why I come here. That's why I like to do the consciousness yap, you know? It's the most fun thing ever, right? When you say perfect relationship, how can I use that for 2 SPs instead of 1? Sorry. I'm in my perfect relationships. I have the perfect relationships. Every relationship I'm in is perfect. And then you could be like, I'm in the perfect relationship with this person. I'm in the perfect relationship with that person. I'm in the perfect relationship with my friends. I have the perfect relationship with my parents. Perfect relationships are perfect relationships across the board. I have the perfect relationship with myself. Or rather, I would say, as the you that's in these two relationships right the fuck now, what are your most common thoughts? Put yourself there like, oh, I have this. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that we're all dating, or like whatever. Honestly, what you talk about, I also talk about it. I love it. It's very aligned with the way I think. Oh, I'm glad that you're enjoying and remembering. I guess my view on it now is that the opposite is like a storm, you know? I don't even... Why even give it that kind of energy? Can I like... Think of it more like a light switch. 2 light switches, okay? 2 light switches, 2 stories. So the story that you want to be on is, I'm always receiving money all the time. But right now that light switch is off, and the light switch that you have on is, I never have any money. So what do? You turn on, I always have so much money. I always have so much money. And you turn off the other one. And even if it like, you know, randomly clicked back on a couple times, you just still be like, no, I have all this money. I have this light on. It might be easier to conceptualize of like a light switch, and then like the off position would be having no money, and the on switch is having a ton of money. So then like flip it on, right? If it's off, flip it on. However it is that analogy helps you, take it and run with it and play with it. Go flip a light switch or two and be like, okay, off, on. You could even have that be a fun like neural activation for yourself every day of like, you're turning your lights on, and like have it be a multiplier though, so that you don't like freak yourself out of like, oh, I turned the lights off. It's not going to work like that, okay? Just have it be a reinforcement switch. You get it now. Good, I'm glad. I think it's because of skin disease that I see every day. A dis-ease, and skin is your feeling world. So what happens if you start complimenting your skin and saying, skin, you're so beautiful. You're so elastic. You're so perfect. I love that you healed so quickly. I'm so glad I supported you in every single way. I love you so much. What if you just poured love through yourself and you loved you regardless of anything, and your body then picks it up? Skin, you look perfect. I'm so happy. I've like had multiple people come to me saying that like their eczema and other stuff has gone away, like from consciously selecting the realities, letting go of the story, right? Like I remember someone was listening to my poetry a lot, which is like very consciousness activating of like, you choose your story, you move forward from these things. And like what she realized in it was like, she let go of a lot of painful memories from the past, right? Painful things she didn't realize she was telling herself every day about how to be. And that's what was making her eczema flare up. So like, be aware of these things that you're causing yourself pain of like, oh, well, like, you know, whatever. It's that dis-ease and that disturbance in your feeling that you get to come awake to and realize like, actually, I can just feel love. I can just feel love. I can just feel love and peace and ease right now without a reason. And then the funny thing is that your body benefits from that. Tension goes away. Cellular repair happens very quickly. All that jazz. Creating a 3D prop, that's precisely what I use to visualize conscious creation. I can't wait to share it. Oh, that's cool. Interesting. I don't know that I visualize conscious creation. I think I just, but I mean, as far as like an analogy goes, like there's so many infinite different ones, but I mean, I guess I'll know when I see this prop, right? But for me, it's just like, it already exists. What am I preferring to experience? That great, amazing. Like I said this morning, I had the most wonderful time sitting on my porch and just like, I was reading a little bit of Florence Scovel Shinn. I like randomly felt called to grab that book. And so I grabbed it and I flipped to a random page and I read like, I like bibliomancy, which is just like read a random line from a random page in a random book. And then it's the energy of the moment that you need to hear in that moment, because it's just fun. But I opened it and like what I saw was, maybe I'll post it to my story. It was something like, oh, actually it was kind of about like, not letting seeing the opposite affect you because it's meaningless. Recognize that it means nothing and it's not informing that that's what's going to happen. It's just like an old thing. So you continually being in the mind of having it is what brings it through. Okay, so that's interesting. I've had the skin issue so long it kind of feels like me. I completely understand that with like some of the things that I had. Like I had like 35 allergies and like asthma for like 20 something years and like all this stuff that like it felt like, oh, that's just who I am, right? When you can create enough space, when you can witness yourself in the you that doesn't have it anymore and like keep returning to that state, that becomes you. So like put yourself in that of like, what's the me that has never had this feel like? I just feel confident and good about myself. And then you hold that and you witness that and you replay that again and again. And then you're going to notice like a thought come in of like, that is one of your usual thoughts. And you get to catch it in that moment and recognize that that's not a regular thought. That has actually been what you've been playing through your system, and your body is projecting it. Your body is reflecting it. Your body is forming of it. So catch yourself, come back to center, be who you want to be. Here's the thing. Your skin is perfect. Your skin is perfect in its forming of your consciousness, so tell a good story. My skin is perfect. I'm perfect. Every single cell of me is perfect. Everything is perfect. I have the best relationships. I am the best person in my life. I don't know, whatever the fuck you want to tell. I have the best blah, 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 whatever. Let it be easy. And if you're like, it feels like me, then feel something, feel, how do you prefer to feel? Are you feeling how you prefer to feel, or are you feeling kind of like shitty about it? If what you're saying is like, how I feel generally standard every day is a little bit shitty, maybe that's where we apply the love. Maybe that's where we awaken to ourselves and remember, oh. Do you take any action? Because I've decided that it's all about identity and conviction by action. Your actions, look at the word action. Act I on, right? Act I on. What act am I on? What am I on? So your action is going to be a natural expression of yourself, of the I that you're being, of the I that's turned on, right? So the actions, what you portray, what you bring through, it's going to be the natural steps of that person. If you've decided I'm a millionaire and I have a very successful business, how do you walk into the room? What's your posture like? That's your action, is you being the you right here and right now, without like, some people will conflate that of being like, well, if I had so much money, I'd be spending it on all these things. Not all the time. You'd also be sitting and chilling and watching Netflix, and you'd be like walking around in your shoes still, you know? So like, who are you in the stillness, in the quiet moments between as well? Who's that you? How does that person feel in their body regardless? I've decided I'm loved and chosen. Do I keep silent and wait for it to come to me? The one that is loved and chosen, how are they thinking and feeling and acting right now? The one that's loved and chosen, you decided you're loved and chosen. What is that internal experience like then for you? What is the internal experience of you being loved and chosen look like in your life? What does it look like for you to love and choose yourself every single day? How are you loving and choosing yourself right now? What I notice is the body really internalizes a 3D experience, overriding it with a different timeline. It's just like your body experiences what your mind puts it through. That's why PTSD is a whole thing, and that's also why trauma and joy both wire things into the brain faster, because it increases neuroplasticity in such like a rapid fire set. So that's why I teach with joy. If you've checked out my podcast, The Joy Channel, because that's how I shifted my body more rapidly, was I increased pleasure and joy, making, you know, because I came from a neuroscience background. So I was like, if I increase neuroplasticity, I can wire this pattern in faster. And then it's like also down to the quantum of like, it's the now moment. It's the now moment. So it's like all of that science jargon is just chatter anyway, because at the end of the day, it's consciousness and what I'm conscious of. But I have that background. So I'm just like, well, if I increase joy, but then you look at it in a quantum moment of if I just have more and more now moments of joy, then my life is more dominantly joy. So either way it works. Kind of joy, like eating what you want, buying things, how to increase joy. Okay, so here's what I've discerned. I'm going to talk about it, episode 1 of the podcast, actually, back from 2019. There are multiple kinds of joy. What I like to teach is creative joy versus consumptive joy. So if you are generating joy from who you're being versus generating joy from eating, taking things in, playing video games. If you're getting joy only from like watching TV, you're consuming another person's stories, thought patterns, etc. Like another person, don't argue with me on that one right now, okay? We're fine. But what I mean is like you're consuming things you're not generating. So make yourself a joy list of like, what are the things that I do where I feel joyful and it's just me with myself. So on my list is, I learned that I loved, like in writing affirmations out, I started writing poetry and I was like, oh my God, I love writing poetry. So writing, that's generative, right? Because I'm tuning into the energy I'm preferring to proliferate and I'm bringing that through. Painting, that's me generating because I'm tuning into my joy, my pleasure there, and I'm bringing it through a medium, right? Dancing, again, tapping into that joy, bringing it through the movement of my body. Even cooking, it's like tapping into that joy, bringing it through my body, and then I, you know, of course you get to eat and everything, but like you get to be really aware of these things. And so it's like explore a little bit. And if you're like, okay, well, what did I really enjoy as a child? If you're like struggling in the now of like finding joy of like, I really liked digging in a sandbox as a child. What was it that I loved about it? I loved shaping the things. Oh, you know what? Like I'm going to get myself kinetic sand, or I'm going to go play in a sandbox, or I'm going to get some sculpting clay. Since I liked that building with my hands, I'm going to get that for myself. And then like that is you generating joy, right? You're like, oh yeah. And that's also like a very fun confidence building thing is creating art, because then you're going to hit points where it's like, you know, oh, this is going so great. Oh, this is a little ugly. Oh my God, that's amazing. And you like get to move through it. You don't leave it at the part where it's like ugly and you don't like it. You just keep going. Pardon me. And you get to learn skills. It's fun. And also like, yeah, you know, you can eat what you want and like buy things as well. But like what I like to emphasize for people is like generate, create. You're a creator. So create beauty, tune into beauty and bring it through. What if nothing makes me feel happy? How can I manifest that depression away? Start tuning into like, so I'll tell you my story, what I did. When I realized like I needed to feel joy, I was like, shit, I don't even know how I'm going to do that, because like I haven't felt that in a really long time. So then I set the intention. I said, okay, something is going to come to me today that's going to remind me, and I'm going to feel that feeling. And then a few minutes later, I got a text from an old friend. And my heart lit up and I smiled. And it was in that moment that I felt the warmth moving through my body that I was like, oh my God, that's the feeling. Now, because I'm smart, I was like, I'm not attaching it to that person. I'm recognizing that that's the feeling I was asking for. And it's not that it came from her, right? It generated from me, triggered by witnessing her, of course. But that love came from me. And so I was like, let me explore why. It's like, well, because she's just so sweet and innocent and like brilliant and cute. And I said, okay, well, if I can feel that way for her, I can feel that way for me. So then I breathed and I like went on a little like mind expedition, and I just like witnessed things that would bring me joy. I imagined myself in the car in the summer. I hadn't been able to drive at that point, right? Because my spine was messed up. So I imagined myself in the car in the summer with the windows down and the radio on, just like driving and like the wind blowing my hair and singing and laughing. And like I did that, like I imagined myself, and I imagined myself with friends as well, singing and laughing. And that moved the joy through my system, right? So then I was like, okay, let me keep this going. And I was like, played a game with myself of like, how much joy can I feel with just like witnessing in my mind, right? So then I was like, okay, let me like witness some other things. And I like put myself in the ocean body surfing, because like I get so much joy doing that and feeling so buoyant and being carried by the waves, right? Imagined myself climbing up cliff faces, which I hadn't been able to do because my arm and my shoulder and all that jazz. So I was like, okay. So I like climbed in my mind and I felt the strength in my body. And I was like, when I get up, I'm going climbing. And then I ended up joining a climbing gym after my body was better. So like, you generate your joy, experience your physicality, like in whatever way, choose to receive memories, look for joy in the little things too, of like, if you can play a game with yourself of like, okay, I'm gonna touch myself in a way that actually like I feel joyful about. So like maybe you like tickle yourself a little bit, or you draw a little pattern and you're like, that feels kind of good. Okay, let me like magnify that, right? Be present with your physicality and yourself. Imagine something in your head of like, what's the most like enjoyable things, like fun things someone could say to me? And then imagine yourself witnessing that and feel yourself receive that. You are generative, you are creative. Do you believe everyone is you pushed out? Absolutely. Absolutely. I experienced that a lot. And once you witness it, there's really no unseeing it. You know what I mean? So is that how you get your spark back? Absolutely. Like you remember that you are the energy, right? Instead of trying to seek outside of you and like constantly like being like feeling a little dead to the world and just watching 8 hours of TV or something, and then feeling like, well, that kind of like made me feel good in a sense, but also like not good, and now I'm tired, whatever. Hope this is going on YouTube. Lots of goodies in here. I was just thinking that too. I was like, damn, this is good. If you manifest an SP, I feel like that's the most challenging thing for this community. What I want you all to get is that every single person you have ever experienced in your life has been a manifestation of the consciousness you've been being in that moment. So everyone technically has been an SP for you. You've already been manifesting people your whole freaking life, from your expectations, from the stories you have about them. Now, if you're like, well, what about like little kids that get abused? Because people ask that a lot of times. Look at it like consciousness already had a pattern playing out, and then you were born into wherever the consciousness generated you, right? So then you, as the generated, experience whatever you experienced from the pre-generated story until something in you wakes up and you remember you get to steer, and then you get to choose the pattern, okay? You get to choose the pattern. So until you woke up, you were just the autopilot pattern that was growing to the point and spark of consciousness, if that helps. How would you say they are going along with the story you created for them, right? Because I used to, hold on. But you would say they are going along with the story you created for them, right? Because I used to be like, hell no, that's not everyone as you pushed out, because I'm not an ass, but it was the story I had about them. Yes. Yeah, it's the story. Okay, that's a funny thing. We'll talk about them. That of like, they're going along with the story you created for them, because you used to be like, hell no, it's not everyone as you pushed out, because I'm not an ass. Okay, so everything is consciousness, the pure energy of source, everything is consciousness. Within that, all that is, every perspective and response pattern exists. If you're getting offended by something existing in existence, in the existence of all that is, where is that coming from, right? You can prefer things, of course. You're like, you know what, I prefer to interact with this, but everything existing in existence means the most beautiful, wonderful, amazing things happen, and the most horrific, horrible things also exist in existence, because everything exists. Knowing that all is energy, all is consciousness, the consciousness of horrific things, the consciousness of beatific things, all exists. So you are choosing who you prefer to be, what you prefer to witness by the stories you tell. So if you say you keep witnessing a world where people are better and peaceful and more beautiful things are coming in, and people are, a lot of people like to tell a story of awakening, or you could say like they're awake to this pattern. People are bringing the most beautiful things, and it's very much what you're invoking. So instead of being like, well, I'm not that asshole over there, and it's like, no, but you know what you are. Look at the way you're reacting to that. You're looking at it and saying, oh, that's so horrible that they're doing that. So your consciousness is then of, that's so horrible that they're doing that. So then you witness horrible things. They are doing that. When you can come awake to like witness that thing and be like, I'm so glad that that improved. I'm so glad that that shifted and consciousness awakened in that to be a different thing. Does that make sense to you? How do we eliminate the illusion of separation between ourselves and others? Witness yourself more. Sit with yourself more. One of the more recent meditations on the Joy channel, which, by the way, the most recent episode was the Joy meditation, which is what I developed for myself. I was kind of describing it earlier, feeling more and more joy. Highly recommend that if you're wanting to feel joy. The one before that was source consciousness, connecting with source consciousness. Witness yourself as all that is. Feel more, expand more, expand your awareness, look through different eyes. Release attachment, witness different perspectives and be like, oh, okay, I feel how the energy generated this experience. And then you get to come back to whatever you choose as yourself, right? And that's how you can let go of other patterns too. You want to eliminate the illusion of separation between yourself and others, then stop witnessing the separation and start witnessing the connection. Witness the connectedness that's already there. Witnessing something happening to someone else is really more about witnessing it than it happening. I mean, there is no one else, right? So, since everyone as you push up, if there's someone contradicting you / being rude, do we need to change what we perceive? Okay, so it's like if you have a story that's like some people are just assholes, right? Then you're going to experience that. And you can, because the reality is infinite. You don't have to change that if you don't want to. If you're like, you know what, it makes life a little spicy and fun. Great, then that's your lived experience. But if you want to awaken to like, for me, a big shift was like recognizing like, oh, they're having a hard time right now. Instead of being like, oh my God, they're such an asshole, be like, oh, they're expressing whatever pain they're in and they're like, you know, or even changing that of like, oh, they're awakening to their pattern right now. I don't know, something. Pick fucking something out that benefits you. Self-love seems wild to me. I always thought I liked myself, but when you become aware, you question that. I mean, can you just feel love within your body for no reason, simply because you get to feel love? That is self-love too. It's not necessarily like, I'm gonna like love my like physical self and all that, because that is part of it, right? But can you just feel love, pure love, without any attachment, without having to steer it or cheer it or make it be something and do something? Can you just feel it, be present with you, and like enjoy it? Enjoy the presence of love in your system. A lot of people want to attach it, to other people or to animals or to something, but it is a generative force and it exists for you to tap into and witness, and it is consciousness, so tap in. Being aware feels lonely because everyone as you push out, also harder to be nice, because I'm like, that's just me reflecting. So that's your experience. But if you just feel super connected, if you recognize, oh wow, we're all one, we're all connected. Wow, we're all connected, which means I get to feel love and witness you feeling love. I get to generate love and witness you enjoying it. I get to be tuned into like loving myself and witness how my world reflects that. Like, I think it makes it easier to be nice, because if I see part of me struggling, I'm going to extend compassion instead of punishment, right? If you were raised to be punished for your pain and struggle, it makes sense that you might be struggling a little, but then you get to teach yourself a new way. Like, oh wow, aw, hi babe. And it's also, we're growing, right? So it's like, do I have times where I'll witness someone do some fuck shit and then be like, fucking rude? Yeah, sure, but then I'm going to be like, okay, how do I prefer to respond? And if I prefer to like just get the fuck away from that system, then I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna go focus elsewhere. I'm gonna be like, okay, what story was that generating from? What do I prefer to experience now? And then like if they come up in my mind, I'll be like, I'm so glad that they got whatever they needed to just be the best version of themselves, right? I had some weird shit happen like last September, where I was getting like weird messages, and I just tuned into that person being like healthy and happy, and then they messaged me like a while later and was like, hey, I was going through some stuff and this happened and that happened, and I'm so sorry, I don't even remember sending you those messages, because So it was like, but they got the help they needed and now they're thriving and they're sober, and it's just like, yeah, great, choose. Choose that things are benefiting them, right? Oh, someone's being really fucking rude. Are you going to be like, well, fuck that person? When you're being rude, are you like, well, fuck me? Or are you going to be like, huh, I was feeling really under-resourced and I snapped at that. So what do I need to do to take care of myself so that I can like actually respond from responsibility instead of punishment? Oh God, I love this stuff. If you've, you know, something that's really great is Nonviolent Communication by Dr. Marshall Rosenberg. There's a 3-hour YouTube video that I like to watch like once a year. But it just like reminds us to like tune in that way. And that's not the first place I like heard this stuff. Like this is stuff that came to me through epiphany when I was shifting my system because I realized I needed to respond differently. But he does have like a whole like nice way of presenting and speaking and things that I've learned from that as well. So highly recommend that. Maybe, you know what? I think I was making at one point like a resource library. People of like, here, if you want to like increasing your emotional skills, communication, intelligence helps you within yourself and within your community. And then when you witness people, like if I witness a man screaming, I see a boy. I see a small boy who never was taught to communicate with skills, right? That's not. So then you actually get to witness and be like, okay, so like they're still carrying this old pattern. They didn't learn to update that. And it's not to infantilize them, not being like, oh, you poor baby, you just don't know any better. But it's more of just like, okay, they're not running from their adult mind right now. They're running from a set pattern that didn't update. So then that also adjusts the way I handle that. Because if I come in with like a punishing energy, what happens? Force is going to be met with force. Versus being like, okay, best way for me to handle this right now is not to handle it. I'm going to walk away. And then, you know, whatever happens in that situation of like, okay, I'm going to bring it down. We're going to respond differently. I'm not going to respond from a punishing energy because that's creating the idea that punishment actually would be effective here, and it wouldn't. Toddler. It's like looking at it scientifically neutrally, right? And you get that neutrality because you're not like stressed the fuck out, right? If you had been raised in a more volatile situation, right? Where it's like there's a lot of reactivity. It's like reactivity or shutting down or like other things, and then like getting to just awaken to that pattern. Oh my God, I love this stuff so much. This is absolutely going on YouTube. I've been thinking about that for a long time of like the next thing I want to teach being an emotional development course. I have several worksheets that I've put together of like, I love it. I'll tell you about one of them. I had this as like a handout I made for an event I put on a few years ago. But it's like a list of words of like lazy, rude, irresponsible. And then, so I say, okay, go through this list. Whichever one gets the biggest emotional reaction from you, pick that word. You can do it with all the words, but for the sake of the workshop, it was just like, we're going to start with just the top one. Pick that word. Okay. What are the phrases that come to your mind with it? And what were the key memories? And then it's like, okay, what does it actually mean to be rude? Oh, it's like if someone disrespects you. And it's like, okay, well, how would you know if someone is disrespecting you? Like, what would that be? And then what's another alternative that like could have been of like, because they're not disrespecting you. They're just responding in a way that you weren't conditioned to acknowledge as like whatever. And then you react to it with this big emotion of they're disrespecting me. They're being rude to me, when it's like, it literally wouldn't have entered their field in that way. It literally does not mean what you're making it mean. And you're giving yourself a whole internal reaction based off of nothing except the idea that told you when you were younger that you should be angry about this. So I like that a lot because it's like deprogramming the bullshit of like, this is the response. Anyway, hold on, let me look at this. Talk about 3P, how they come to be and how to remove them. I was shocked by 3P, not expected. It's just from the story that you weren't chosen. You're not chosen. Maybe there's someone better for you than me. Even if they're not better than me, like whatever pattern, it's going to be unique to you, really. But at the end of the day, what's the story? Oh, he didn't choose me. She didn't choose me. They didn't choose me. Okay, cool. When did you stop choosing you? When did you stop prioritizing you? Kind of thing. Choose you, prioritize you, focus on you being your favorite version of self, and everything like dissolves, because there is no 3P really. It's just you with another mask on. You with another mask on to show you that you're not feeling your worth or some bullshit. Can you take accountability of, I was afraid he would pick someone else. Oh, yeah, I was afraid he would pick someone else, low key. I wasn't fixating on it, but it was in the back of my mind. And now it's at the front of my mind, in my face, so I can actually take a bit accountability for that shit. Feels safer when it's all you and you're the operant power of your reality rather than the victim. Well, that is safety. That's recognizing that you are safe and that you get to choose it, versus like playing the game of like something going wrong all the time. Will reminiscing on good memories with SP help reflect? Yeah, sure, of course. And you can also receive new memories, you know? It's all a memory. What's it called? Is it the nonviolent communication thing? So it's nonviolent communication with Marshall Rosenberg, and it's the 3-hour one. What a healthy approach, that not obsessive but effective and will positively impact self-concept too. So sitting in the pleasure and love of connection, like feeling that pure love for yourself and for this person, and like the strength of that connection, like you're in your healthy relationship, right? So what's the energy that you are carrying in your body? Not entangled with an idea of a person, not like over serving, but like being like your pure favorite version of self. And then what's the best version of them? And then what is your energy like together? And like feel that, witness it, enjoy it, see what memories come to you. You can do a little meditation of like witnessing some stuff. I did a wonderful meditation yesterday. It was just like, I just tuned into my intuition and I like walked down some stairs, and then I ended up in a library and I saw like a scene, and I really enjoyed the interactions. So trust yourself, like play with it more, play with consciousness. It's all here for you to witness. Let me catch up on these. I'm glad it's flowing. 1,000% have raised my voice and just haven't learned emotional regulation yet. And it's okay, because it's like your capacity may shift at times too, right? Even if you have these tools and learn it, your tools are only useful for you when you apply them. Oh, you could have the best toolkit in the world, but if you don't pull out your screwdriver when you need it and you grab the hammer instead, how do all overall change? So write out the story. You could go general. You could just say everything is so perfect for me. Everything fell into place so easily, or something like that. Or you could, if you wanted to pick one thing, but you are naming all of these things. No wonder you're feeling overwhelmed. So just say that everything's perfect for you. Tune into that. How would you be feeling in your body if like everything just shifted? Things shift overnight all the time, right? There was just a shift of like, wow, they're so loving and wonderful. My kids are so healthy. Laying in bed at night, even of going through your list of like, oh my God, I'm so happy. Like my body's so healthy. I have so much money. I'm feeling so safe. It's so wonderful. And just like immersing in that, falling asleep in that feeling. And then you wake up and then you're like, immediately do that same thing of like, I'm so grateful. I'm so like happy that I'm experiencing this. Would you say reaction is a big part of changing reality? Well, yeah, because if you're a reaction, right? You're acting again. You're reacting to that. So it happens. Your action internally, right? And then you witness a projection of consciousness, and then you react to it. You're acting to it again. So is your reaction what you prefer? Is it of the actor that you prefer? Or is it a different role that you've been playing? Oh, you love the 3P explanation? I'm glad. It's so fun. Having a tough day. Any advice for picking yourself up / persisting when you feel like crap? Honestly, it's okay if you feel like crap. Let yourself kind of feel like crap, but do whatever supportive things you can for yourself. Like, don't beat yourself up for feeling like crap. Don't put crap on top of crap, right? No guilt, shame, blame, anything of like, you should be like feeling better. How about instead you're just like, what would a loving thing I could actually do for myself be? Like, body, what do you need from me? Please rub my feet. Okay, cool. So then you rub your feet with some nice lotion. And while you're doing that, you could even be like, body, I love you. I'm here for you. I'm supporting you. Let's just focus on us today, okay? Like, what else do you want to do? I want to take just a hot bath and like put on some like nice music and just like chill. Okay. I really want some chocolate chip cookie with like vanilla ice cream on it. Okay. What would feel good for you? I really want spinach. Like, I just want to house a bag of spinach. Okay, cool. What is it that your system's calling for? I don't think spinach was affected by anything. It's you anyway. So it's like, look at what you're persisting in. What you're persisting in is being the version of you that is the most loving, compassionate version of you for yourself. Meaning you're not going to shame, blame, or guilt yourself for bullshit. And you're actually going to take fucking care of you. How can you take care of your physical form the best? Likely, what I've found in my system and also what I've observed with my clients is like, if you've been neglecting your physical self, it's going to make you aware of that. With reaction, I've seen other unrelated things sway negatively at the same time when it rains, it pours. So that is a program that you have. Do you hear that? When it rains, it pours. You could say the better it gets, the better it gets. It's just a program. It's just a chant you've been repeating. You've been enchanting yourself. Oops. Wake up now. Wake up now. It all actually, I've seen it sway positively. Invoke some good shit. You invoke here and now, and yet it sounds like you keep looking at the past. So if it's not a past you prefer to replay and experience again, stop fucking looking at it. Look at the here and now of success, love, and joy. What's here for you now in love? What's 3P? 3P means third party. So, and I want to be clear with you guys. A third party doesn't matter because it doesn't really exist. It's an obstacle you're creating. Like, let's say that what you want is, usually people use it in a romantic term. They're like, I want to date this person, and they're obsessed with someone else or dating someone else, and you're making that whole thing as if it's like a reality instead of like a scene that you're watching. But like, here's another example of a 3P, a third party. You've decided that you're perfectly healthy, and yet you have someone in reality telling you you're not healthy. Are you going to believe that? Are you going to go along with that? Make that the third party is like, oh, that's standing between me and my health is this person who's like telling me that I'm not actually healthy. Another example would be like, you've decided that you have a job, and yet someone else is up for the job, and you obsess over it, and you say, but what about this other person? They're going to get chosen, and then they do get chosen. And then you could either stay in that story, or you could say, actually, no, that was a mistake, and they choose me. And then you will experience that. So many people experience that all the time. So it's like, what are you making an extra party between you and what you desire? It's just you're taking out of all the cosmos of time and space, you're like plucking this from the ethers and putting it between you and the experience you desire, and acting as if that's an obstacle you have to overcome, instead of just batting it out of the way because it was never there in the first place. You're together. You're healthy. You're happy. That's it. There is no third party. There's just you being a creative little imp with yourself. Imposter. Having a hard time trusting what I am affirm works, and the doubts are so loud when I'm affirming. So be louder, bitch. The fuck? When you are like, here's the funny thing is like, can you like get up and chat and be like, I am so phenomenal. Can you really get into it? Really get into it, give it your all for a bit, instead of like letting yourself get the shit kicked out of you by a dumbass thought. Really, you are this big, beautiful person. You're letting a little thought, a little line of dialogue come in and be like, I don't think you're actually blah, blah, blah. Who are you? Fuck off. Like, that's nothing. That's literally nothing. That's just like a little random blip in the program of all that is. And you're like, oh, I particularly hate this one. Let me personally victimize myself with that. Like, having a hard time trusting. Why don't you just say, actually, I'm having an easy time trusting? Because it sounds like you're having a really fucking easy time trusting these bullshit thoughts versus trusting that what you choose to repeat becomes your dominant experience. The more you think a thought, the more common it becomes in your system, the more it becomes an auto-suggestion. These other bullshit thoughts ran amok and became your auto-suggestive thoughts because you weren't aware that the more you repeat something, it comes back. And that's not a stressful thing of like, oh, if I have a random ass thing come up, it doesn't matter because you're making your dominant thought the one that you're choosing to repeat. It's just your thoughts, babe. Relax. Have less thoughts if you can. If you can relax and clear your mind more, that's also very enjoyable. And then you have more space for, I'm choosing these thoughts. These are my thoughts. I'm fully enjoying and witnessing it. It's so easy for me. I react negatively. Other stuff goes sideways. Train surfing reality resent. I'm a limiting belief. Why don't you just drop everything? Stop analyzing. Stop asking more questions and just be present with what do I choose in the now? Everything's actually working for me. Great. Focus on that for a few days. Everything's actually working for me. Everything's actually perfect. But what about this? Nope. Everything's perfect. Everything's actually perfect. I bet you haven't done that for more than a short amount of time. Can you keep returning to that no matter what? Keep returning to that. Write it wherever the fuck you need to remind yourself. But you keep asking these bullshit questions that are directing your consciousness away from the fact that you've already chosen it's perfect and towards the idea that you don't know something. When all these questions you're asking aren't actually helping you have the experience you're choosing. You think you're doing something productive because you're like analyzing shit, but you're actually not. Have the experience you're choosing here and now. Stop generating questions that aren't generating the answers that you prefer right now. You are here and now. Choose what you want now. You can eat and live how you want and still have your best health and shape, and but that is an actual like mind thing, and you have to be conscious of that. If you are, while you're eating something, saying this is so bad for me, oh my god, this is going to make me fat, and then you're like, but I thought I could choose. Yeah, you didn't though. You kept choosing the same fucking thing and perpetuating the same thing. How come if I think the same thoughts, I keep getting the same results? Oh my god. Because it's you, because you're the common denominator. Claim health for my daughter. How do I make sense of the RX she needs? Okay, I actually really like this. Because like, I'll tell you, my experience was when I was shifting my body from deep, intense pain and allergies and all that stuff to health, I was still taking medications. I was on like a whole fucking ton of medications. And what I was saying, I was like, everything helps me. It's helping my system calm down and come down to the normal, natural, healthy state. So I decided every time I took it, I would like be like, this is helping my body in the perfect way. And I'm not going to need it soon anyway. Stuff like that. And then I remember I was off of it in like a couple weeks because I just stopped needing it. I wasn't in pain anymore. And it would just like, it made my mind foggy. So I was like, well, I don't need this. And then I got to like experience my like clear self. But it was like, I would like take things because I was like, when I had intense nerve pain, even though the medication didn't make my nerve pain go away, and it was just treating a symptom, I was like, if I can take the nerve pain down from like an 11 to like an 8, great. That's helping me so that I have more mental capacity to focus on just repeating the thought I'm repeating, which was telling my body it was already perfectly healthy so that it could actually heal, taking the stress off of my mind, deeply relaxing my body. And then I stopped. I would say give her the ERX, and that caused her to be healthy. ERX isn't bad. Yeah, choose that it helps. Choose that everything helps. If you decide to get a surgery, like choose that like is the best thing for you, right? Just because you can have whatever doesn't mean you need to. How can I stop thinking things have to unfold in a logical way? Because reality is infinite. There's infinite iterations. So your version of logic, do you know all the pieces on the chessboard right now? Do you know all the pieces on the chessboard? On the multi-layered chessboard? No? Then it doesn't need to be by your logic, does it? Also, the word logic comes from the word word. So it's just your word. So if your logical for you is like, this is going to happen in the easiest, most direct way. What I like to think of is like the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So I'm like, whatever. Also, the shortest distance between 2 points is 0 when the 2 points are on top of each other. So I also like to collapse that time and space of like, it's just here right now. So like, stop trying to do a logical thing when you can just be like, it's here. The most logical thing for an instantaneous creator being is that it's just here. That's what logic is. What is logic for your God being versus like logic for the human who doesn't actually know all the pieces on the board? What do you recommend for dealing with traumas or negative experiences from before knowing the law? Choose that your mind is perfect. Choose that you are witnessing everything in the most beautiful way right now. Choose that you only have the best memories. Choose that your body is feeling healthy, safe, and wonderful. Choose that you have the best response patterns. Choose that it was easy for you to let go of whatever you no longer wish to carry. And choose that you see everything through the wisest, most loving perspective for you. And then deeply relax your body. Be present with yourself. Make your body feel as safe as you possibly can, which means if you incorporate self-touch, you release that oxytocin, that beautifulness with yourself. Remind yourself you're safe, you're loved, you're valuable, you're selecting your reality now. That was just an old bullshit auto pattern running. You're good. Oh, bye, Glaze. Oh, I'm so glad, Danny. What's your now moment? What's the most beneficial thing for you to think in this now moment? Everything's perfect for me, period, done. How do you deal with time? I lose faith during the unfolding part of the desire. So if you are losing faith during a moment of blankness instead of creating in that moment that everything's perfect for you, why? What do you think you're going to get out of it? Do you think like you're going to get some kind of award for just like giving up? What is that about? Like, look at it this way. I don't deal with time. I emit time. I emit my... If I'm emitting in a moment that it's not working for me and that's what I'm internally reacting to, yeah, no wonder you lose faith during the unfolding. You don't have to acknowledge an unfolding. Can you be in the moment of, I already have this, I am this? Can you even put yourself past that moment and like imagine you had it for a few weeks? How would you be feeling in your body then? Feel that way. Keep returning to it. Keep returning to it. The only reason you're returning to the other thing is because you're used to it. You keep returning to the other pattern because you're used to it. The point of this game is the dominance of thought, right? It's what you're dominantly thinking. So choose, nope, that's not who I am. I can't possibly be reacting to not having it because I'm the person who always got it. I'm the person who always was going to receive this. So, and like, yes, easier said than, you know, that's a saying too, easier said than done. Let's say it's actually as easily done as it is said. But if you're experiencing, oh, I'm saying it, but whatever, look at it this way. When you're like manifesting money or something and you're like part of you deeply knows, like, I already have the money. It doesn't matter. It was always going to come. But you stress yourself the fuck out and then keep returning to, like, it's already coming. It's already, it's why I already have it. I keep receiving more and more. And then you have a payment come in. It was always coming in, but you stressed yourself the fuck out, when instead what you could have been doing is relaxing yourself deeper. So you feel this tension come up. That's why people do nervous system regulation. That's why people do EFT tapping. This is why people do breath work, to relax yourself so that you can take yourself out of the feeling shitty. That's why we do joy meditation. Fill your body with feeling really good and joy. Use that meditation. It's on my podcast for a reason. Take yourself down from that. Feel really, really good in your system. Also, guys, the Select Your Reality course and Healthy State program both take you through things of, like, Healthy State very much focuses on all the different ways of experiencing physicality of wellness, and then Select Your Reality is like taking you through different sets of mind, building confidence and manifestation, all that jazz. So those exist for you, as well as the free podcast that exists with 139 episodes. Please use the stuff. I love talking and I love sharing with you guys, and it's all out there for you. Favorite master manifester, how are you doing? I am the favorite. I'm amazing. How do I let go of memories of how they treated me and how I felt? By focusing on the memories you're choosing. When you are focusing and choosing to remember more and more the ones that you're choosing, the other ones naturally fade out and go away. Stop revisiting it. That's how. And change the meaning too. It'd be like, you could even be like, oh, actually, that's not what happened. And then anytime it came up, you'd be like, nope, that's actually not what happened. Actually, what happened was this. That was just a meaning I gave it. And now I'm giving it a new meaning because I have the power to decree. This sun is like so bright all of a sudden. I am going to hop off soon. Let's see how long I've been on. I've been on for 1 hour and 31 minutes. Amazing. Choose to focus on the feeling you desire to feel. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Feel confident by cultivating confidence. Confident means trust in yourself. So with faith, with trust, build your trust in you. What is the version of you that's confident feeling like? What are you saying to yourself? How are you moving through your life? Actually witness that version of you, because they already exist. If a payment is late when I've said my bills are paid, then what to do from this moment on? Persist in that it's paid, baby. Persist in that it's paid. And it does be. And it does be. Right? It's already paid. The money came in and it's paid. Because here's the thing is, it's like, payment is, it's like the money does come in and you pay it. Okay, so you had a little shuffling to do. You had to have a little awkward conversation with your card company or something. Big fucking whoop. Like, what did this make you decide this time is that I always pay ahead of time. I always pay ahead of time. I always have more than I need. I've completely paid my cards off, whatever it is. Like, you're telling the story. So who has this allowed you to become? Oh, I've decided I'm never doing that again. So what was I doing before? I kept projecting my consciousness to, I have a bill due on this date. I have a bill due on this date. I have a bill due on this date. And I don't know how I'm going to pay it. I don't know how I'm going to pay it. I don't know how I'm going to pay it. What am I going to do? So you're projecting into the consciousness of not having it, instead of projecting into the consciousness of it's already done. All this is saying is that you were not dominantly in the it's already paid. And that's okay. Don't shame yourself for it. Just take accountability of, like, you know what, I was doing that. I was stressing about it all the fucking time. Okay, I see where that's gotten me, so we're not going to do that anymore. How to let go of shame for it being late. I was late on a payment one time, and my sister said to me, oh, I hate when that happens. And, like, my sister is, like, like type A, like, so responsible and all that stuff. So I was like, oh my God, it's happened to you? Like, what the fuck? And that, like, evaporated a lot of shame from me. It was just like, oh yeah, like, oh yeah. Hey, when that happens, like a big whoop kind of thing. Like, that's not a, like, oh, okay, cool, happens sometimes. Oh, you mean I didn't have to beat myself up and tell myself I was, like, horrible and lazy and, like, bullshit like that? Oh my God, it's almost like I took that opportunity to just abuse myself. Funny how that happened. So it's good because it'll get you aware of how you treat yourself at your lowest point instead of like recognizing like, babe, you know what happens? You keep it pushing. Next day, the payment came in. You did it. You're done. Congrats. What did you learn? I learned not to kick myself when I'm down because it doesn't help. Amazing. I'm so happy for you. I love you. And also it was like that moment of being late, like, was what made me realize I had been projecting my consciousness into like, I have it's due on this date, it's due on this date, it's due on this date. And that's when I shifted to I always pay my bills ahead of time. And since then I have always paid my bills ahead of time. You know? So it really is like what you say it is. The money always shows up before I need it, right? Instead of, because I used to say it, I always get it, but I always get it last minute. And that was fucking stressful. We're not doing that in this house anymore. Now I always get it ahead of time. All right, my loves, I've got to go. Oh, hi, Bridget. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see you. I'm going to go now. You guys are wonderful. I still have a few slots left for the July special with the July bonus. And Select Your Reality and Healthy State are both on my website, and they're phenomenal. So treat yourself to your chosen life. I love you, baby. Have a beautiful day. This will be up on YouTube.